Hi there. So I know this is weird. This is part 2 of the tulips, and it cut off in a kind of weird way just when I was about to paint the tulips. But the funny part is I didn't know that it had done that. So if you look, the example is the one that I had been working on with you in the previous video, and now the new one on the left is one that I found up in the storage area, and it just so happened to be almost done, but the tulips weren't done. So I don't know if that was just like a weird coincidence or what. But we're going to use this one. So you'll notice that they are a little bit different because one was painted almost 3 years ago, the one on the left, and the one on the right was the one that I was painting with you the other day. So I'm just going to go ahead and redo the last few steps for you so that you can get your tulip painting done. And yeah, let's just keep on moving like nothing happened. I just wanted to explain in case you were wondering why it looked different a minute ago or a second ago, because it was literally just a second ago. Okay, so if you notice on that boot, I think where it left off is that I had just finished painting the boot. So the boot is painted, it is dry now, but we are going to move on to our tulips. The tulips are going to be the purple color, the pink color, and the mixture of orange and pink together, which is going to create that really pretty corally color. And with the tulips, we're going to have to go over them twice. And also, we're going to add a tiny bit of white into the purple just to get started with, because it doesn't do good coverage by itself. So just add a little bit of white and mix up that purple and make a nice, not lavender, but just a little lighter purple. And we're going to paint in every piece of the tulip individually. So keep that in mind when you're painting, that each piece painted in individually. So each petal gets painted by itself. I'm using the round brush for this, just to get some really good coverage. And then I'll show you how to get the rest of it done. So I'm just going to mimic what's already been done here, but you can choose any way you want to paint them. You can change the colors. You can add a different color, like if you want a blue tulip or if you want a full-on orange tulip, whatever color. If you want yellow tulips, you do that. Tulips come in lots of different shapes. Some are hairy, some have points on them, lots of different colors. If you've had a chance to go visit the tulips up in Mount Vernon, I've heard that they're all out right now and they look great. We can drive by, we just can't stop and get out. All right, so while that's drying, we're gonna go ahead and clean off our brush, and you can just go ahead and wipe the paint off. You can just take a paper towel and wipe the paint off. Oh, also there's a different angle. I have this up above and behind, so that way you're looking down on the canvas instead of straight at it. Hopefully it's a nice angle for you. All right, so same thing with the orange and the pink, mix it completely together, and we're going to go ahead and put those in. Don't be afraid to go over the green a little bit. It's okay if it overlaps because it's actually sitting inside of it. It's a bouquet, so it's sitting inside of there. And there's 3 of these in this painting. This one got a little bit messed up in the leaves. Like I said, I had painted this probably 3 years ago, so I just happened to find it. I don't even know how I remembered, but there was one that was half painted and it was just meant to be. It was waiting for me. And this day, so set it right on top. Now you'll notice that there's lighter green in that one than this one. That's because I had adjusted them so that way it looked better. I like the way that one looks better. Sometimes I do that when I paint stuff. I change stuff because it looks better. Okay, and then your third color is that pink. And we're just going to go ahead and give it one good coating in there. This isn't matching up so good. All right, so just do your best. Your lines will also be better. I've updated this entire painting since the last time it was painted. Yours will have good lines. There shouldn't be any overlapping like this one. I just can't believe that the video cut off. I didn't find out until, what was it, yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. So I found out yesterday that this video cut off at that point. I thought it was a full video and I was uploading it for some of the people who had already gotten their canvases and noticed that it didn't complete, and I was freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So today, Monday morning, I'm here at the studio trying to get this done and moving quickly through it so that way you'll be able to paint your tulips today. All right, so that needs to dry before we can put the next layer of paint on. They are going to take 2 layers of paint to get a really nice coverage. So next we're going to move down to the boot bottom, and that's going to be black. And I'm going to suggest that we use that flat brush. You're going to have 6 different brushes. 3 are going to be of this kind of size, and 3 are going to be smaller detailed brushes. We're going to use the flat, not angled brush, and grab some black paint to paint in the bottom of the boots. So the black part, there's a little bit that kind of sticks out over here on this side, and then this one down here. No, don't mind my mess right there. I dropped some paint. I was painting really fast and dropped the paintbrush, but luckily it's in a spot where it can be covered by the black paint, so no worries. And that's why sometimes it's okay, even if we have these little happy accidents. I don't want this boot to be any thicker down here, so I'm just going to leave that little white spot, even though you should not have one. You should have your floor come right up to the bottom of the boot. But if I go any larger with that, it's going to be like a platform boot. And I don't want to do that. And I can't duplicate this color because this is from 3 years ago. So we're gonna call that good. You're gonna pretend like that's not there. Oh, these online tutorials, they're super fun. At least we don't have a birdie flying by like we do in the llama, how to paint your llama. Yeah, the birdie's flying by, the dogs are barking. We don't have that here. Okay, so now that we've got our boot bottoms in, we're gonna go ahead and put the details on those boots. So the boots are going to have the base color, and then you're also gonna have, we're going to do a second coating of that base color, and just keep in mind that we're painting them individually. So this is the boot in the back and this is the boot in the front. So make sure to paint the boot in the back by itself. And this is always what's very important, is painting individual things so that way we see the lines in the paint. It really, really helps to keep them separate. Oh, and this is the round brush. I'm using that round brush again. It's really hard to remember to say everything while I'm doing this here. All right, so you see there's that one, and it's a little bit darker. While the paint is still wet, you're gonna grab a little bit of this, you'll have a little cup of dark blue, and you're just gonna grab a little bit of that and smear it in between the 2 boots to give like a little bit of a shadowing. Because that boot is sitting next to it, and so there's going to be a light difference on the boot. It's going to be a little bit different. Darkens it right up. Then wipe that brush off, grab the original color, and go ahead and paint the front boot. And I like to paint in different directions. So like the first time we were going up and down. So the second time you can kind of paint across if it makes sense to you. And always paint smooth. Like we don't want to see hardly any lines in it. We want it to be smooth. It's rubber boots, so it should be very smooth. Another thing I'm going to warn you about is that black paint. If you don't let it dry, it will be schmearable. Coining that, that's my words. And you don't want to pull it into the blue. or the turquoisey blue. Actually, going up and down is easier on the front of this boot, so it's okay. So either way you want to paint it. I painted across the top like this because there is like where it kind of folds over, has like a little thicker of a piece of, if you have your own rain boots, which I'm sure you do, it has like a thicker part up here. So just paint that in that direction just to keep it looking like that. It's a little harder to paint the rest of the boot on an angle, so, or side to side. So let's not do that. We just won't do it. Learn as we go, change as we go, adjust as we need to. All right, so now we've got a really good color, solid color on that second boot. And what you're gonna do is, again, you're gonna grab a hold of that dark blue and we're gonna just smear some along the top of the rim here. And then down the front of the boot too. So on this side right here, we're just gonna add a little bit of that darker color, smearing it into that paint that's really wet. It's still wet, we didn't wait for that to dry. And then along the bottom, along like this ankle bump, that there's like a little bump for the ankle, and then a little bit on the toe. And see how that kind of just changes it? Let me look in the camera. I think I can see it. There's a good amount of light in here, so I'm hoping the camera's picking up those little details. And just, you know, adjust it as you like. If you want it a little darker or a little lighter, just go back and forth. But it puts those really great details on that boot. The other thing that we're looking at is grabbing a hold of some white on that same round brush and then just smearing it down the side like this. So you can kind of put like a little bit of a shine on that boot, just like that. A little bit on the toe, a little bit on the toe, and a little bit down the side. And if the paint is still wet, what's great is it will just kind of blend in, so it really gives it that shine with a little bit of that blue in there, which makes sense, right? All right, clean that brush off a little bit, grab a little bit more white, and we can put a little shine on the rubber boot bottoms too. And that's gonna be a little less blendy. We're just gonna put it right on top of that black, just a little bit for the shiness. Wow, that looks great. Ooh, I bumped the table, sorry about that. All right. So the next part we're gonna do is we're going to go back to the tulips, which should be dry, but are not. So if you're using a fan or have the window open, that'll be good to get these to be a little drier. So since they're not dry, I'm gonna skip right over that and we're gonna go to stems on the tulips. So the stems on the tulips, you're gonna use the lightest color green and you're gonna add some white to it. So if whatever lightest color green that you had left, we're gonna add some white to it and lighten it up just a little bit more. So that way we get more of this. It's not electric green or neon, but it's very, very bright, very springy looking. And this is going to be your tulips. Oh, I'm in the wrong brush. Gobbly-goo. All right. Sorry if it seems like I'm rushing, but it's 11:30-ish, and I'm supposed to be launching this video at noon, so I'm trying really hard to get it put together for you so that it's out on time. I don't want to skip any steps, and I definitely don't want to rush you through your painting, but I do want to provide what I said I would provide, not knowing that I was going to have more technology issues. Yay! But so here's your lighter green. We're going to use the angled flat brush for this one. We're going to grab a hold of it, fill that brush up, load it completely up, like get a great amount of paint on there. We definitely want to have a bunch of paint. I'm going to work from the top, from the bottom of our tulips, and we're just going to give them stems. So this stem kind of disappears behind here, so I'm just going to go ahead and just give a little tiny nubbin right there. But this one's going to go right over the top of our leaves, so you'll see them. So see how you can see it's super bright. It stands out from the rest of the foliage. And it goes right into the top of that boot. Now this next purple one, I kind of had it disappear behind. There's a leaf that's here and a leaf that's behind, so it's sandwiched between the two. comes down and disappears right behind the front leaf and in between. And then we're going to grab a hold of this one and pull it straight down to the boot, right into the boot. Pull this one a little more forward. This one too kind of made it itself forward into the boot. Fabulous. Looking good. Look at that. Pulling it together real quick. Then we have this one that's hanging out here. It's behind the purple one, so we're just going to bring it right to the purple. And then finally we have the purple stem, which we'll just pull right down off the side here. It's just like a little scoop into the boot, right to the top of the boot. And if you end up making a little mess like I just did, go get the original boot color and tell those tulips where to sit. Get that nice and strong so that they go in that boot, not in front of the boot. Look at that. Beautiful. All right, tulips, I'm coming for you. You better be dried up. All right, let's see here. So back to our tulips. I'm going to take that round brush again, clean it off real good. I'm going to take a scoop of white and I'm going to put it into all of our colors so they are going to get a shade lighter. So I just got a little bit lighter with my purple, mixed it all the way up. Now we're going to use that color. And the same thing, we're going to work from the back of the tulip forward. So we're going to take the back petal, fill it completely in, work on the sides, and then the front petal, the one that's closest to us, is going to get the last pull of paint right there. Look at that, that looks great. Fabulous. All right, so load it up again. Do the same thing for this, but make sure not to smear any things that you have down here. So don't rest your hand on the canvas. And we always want to work from the middle petal, which is in the back, to the left petal, and then over to the right petal, which hugs that front of the tulip like that. Look at that. So pretty. Okay, now while the paint is still wet and the brush is still dirty, you're going to grab a hold of some just plain old white, and then you're going to smear it on top. So it's going to make this really fun looking light touching each petal. And tulips have that look of like, I don't know how, like they're not plastic looking, but they're like shiny on their petals. So if you add a little bit of white to them, you're going to get that look too. Just a little bit of white. Smear it right down. Itty bitty on here. And then we're going to hug with a little bit of white right there. So put the light on there. Look at that. Fabulous. They look so much better than the other ones because this one's already done. All right. Clean your brush off really good because we don't want any purple in our next colors. And then repeat. We're going to take a scoop of that white and we're going to put it into that orangey pink mixture and see if we can't get it just one shade lighter. It's really minute, might not even look like it changed all that much, but it did. And this is going to be the final coloring for this. So again, back petal first, left petal next, and then the right one. So pretty, look at this. Beautiful, oh, great colors. These are great colors. All my tulips are popping up. I had a few early birds, but now the majority of them are all coming up. And they're so pretty, especially when I forgot where some were, and then they pop up and you're just like, oh my gosh, like a little surprise. Tulip surprise. This one's a little jacked up because the leaves were too thick over here, so I'm trying to cover them back up. The best way, if that happens to you, which it didn't happen on that one because those were lined out better, just wait till it's dry and then you can add more color on top of it. Dry color is always going to cover better than wet because wet will just keep pulling itself back off. So keep that in mind when you're painting. It's white. Oh, so again, we're grabbing a tiny bit of white on that dirty brush, and we're just giving it a little bit of shine on those beautiful petals. This is the hugging petal, the one that comes over and hugs and encloses the whole party, the whole enchilada. So I don't love that, but we're going to move on so that we can get this video finished for you. All right, and then that third color is that beautiful pink. Again, take a scoop of that white, just mix it right in. You don't have to mix the whole cup either. You can mix over to the side and just make sort of a little bit of a lighter, one step lighter. So if you can see in there, you can see a little bit darker, a little bit lighter. This is the lighter one that we're going to apply. Give just one more coat. My tulips are not dry. That's okay. Remember, this is just to get you to those steps. I want you to make it slowed down. I want you to pause the video as much as you need to get through it. Let the paint dry in between. Do not paint as fast as I am showing you. You will not get good results. It's meant to take probably like about 2 hours to get this done. So please just take your time, enjoy it. I usually enjoy my paintings very much, but I'm a little panicked about this whole losing half of my video. I'm just glad I caught it. Holy moly. Wouldn't that have been awful if you had been painting and then all of a sudden, boop, just disappeared? Yikes. And then we're grabbing that white again, and we're just lightly putting some on, giving that shiny beautifulness to those petals. Love it. I'll probably go back and fix that one later, but as it stands, we're going to leave it just as it be. So, as you've seen, there's a little bit of a difference. I did do darker boards down here, and that's just by adding a little bit more of that red color. So there's a little less in that one, and I thought it kind of looked better. So this is the updated version, and this is from a few years ago. Same thing with the background color. It's a little bit darker. I used some of the darkness from here to go up and put those slats in. And again, you're going to go back and forth, and you'll see. You'll get to play with your own paint color. You'll notice these leaves are darker, those leaves are lighter. Here, let me see better, side by side, or maybe it's for the other side, like this is better. So you can see I also use some of that green to do the shading underneath the boot. My roses, oh boy. My tulips have a little bit more shininess on them. Everything about this painting I like better. This one was just as to get you an example going. But I hope that you had a good time with this tutorial. I hope you have great success. If you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comments below. This is going to be my first real launch of a tutorial, so I'm going to see how this works and how I'm able to assist you the best. You can also leave a message at my Facebook page, Island Girl Paint Party or Island Girl Creative Studio, either one of those, and I'll be able to answer your questions. I will do my very, very best to get you all the information you need to be able to do this. I just don't know how I could do a live tutorial, because how would I be able to answer you as I was painting? I don't know how those ladies do it. I guess I should watch one. But either way, I hope this works for you. I'm really excited to start this new version of the business and see how it takes off. Go ahead and hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Almost knocked the camera down. And the subscribe button will keep you up to date with all of the newest videos that are about to come out. I'm going to continue, hopefully be a little smoother and a little bit easier to follow along. But again, thank you so much for your support, and I look forward to seeing you all in person real soon.